Part 72. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 712. Hearing what Nathaniel said, Chenling's heart moved slightly. Wrong. Nathaniel's reaction was very strange. As far as Chenling knew, Nathaniel was a strict and principled man. Today, you actually let him go without even asking a single question about Chenling's identity or searching Chenling's clothes? Charlie, the mercenary captain brought by Angel, said to one of the mercenaries, "You stay and watch the high-speed boat. Bessie, you come with me." The tendon man from Experimental Island took the lead, Nathaniel followed behind him, while Angel and Chenling were in the middle of the group, followed by Angel's mercenaries and soldiers from Experimental Island. The group of people walked silently towards the depths of the dense forest. Chenling, on the other hand, has been secretly observing the jungle. This island has so many trees that it's a bit overwhelming. The jungle is filled with mist, damp, and dark. Sunlight cannot penetrate the thick canopy, only wisps of light leak out. The trunks were covered with moss and vines, and the branches hung low, tangled with the bushes on the ground. The air was filled with the fishy smell of rotting leaves and seawater, which was suffocating. Walking in this kind of dense forest gives people a very depressing feeling, not to mention that in the dense forest, there are always the sounds of rustling branches and shadows flying through the dense forest. The bird with its strange chirping stood on the tree trunk without fear of people, looking at Chenling and the others with its head tilted. Chenling followed them in the dense forest with difficulty. The flip-flops she wore gave her a lot of trouble. The ground was very muddy, with rotten leaves and mud making Chenling's flip-flops dirty. There is no trace of the civilized world here, no human noise. Nature displays its most primitive sounds and forms in front of them without any concealment. How do they transport supplies? Chenling did not find any traces of the will on the ground. Where is it? Chenling looked at the jungle up and down, left and right with fearful eyes. "It's okay, it's safe here," Angel comforted her next to her, "just hold on a little longer and we'll be there soon." "Well," Chenling's voice was very low, as if he was afraid of disturbing the jungle beasts, "I saw a snake dash." She pointed into the distance. There was half a vine hanging down from the tree. It was actually a green snake. Angel squeezed Chenling's hand. At this moment, Chenling found an unusual dark light flashing somewhere above her head. She squinted and saw that there was actually a dark black steel wire hidden there. Somewhere on the steel wire was polished until it shined. Chenling, the light filaments we just saw were reflected by the sun shining on them. If you don't look carefully, you won't be able to spot it. Presumably, these steel wires are used to transport supplies. After walking arduously for more than half an hour in the moist and dark dense forest, they penetrated deep into the hinterland of the island. Raised tree roots, rotten leaves, and puddles on the ground seriously affected their progress. At this time, the team suddenly stopped. Nathaniel, who had remained silent, said, "Here we are." Chenling had a confused look on his face. It is still a jungle without any buildings. Before she could ask any questions, she saw the fleshy man step forward and open the bark of a big tree. It was a fake tree with a trap hidden inside. The sinewy man pressed the button and then closed the bark. Rumble. The ground shook and made a dull sound. A piece of land not far ahead moved to the side, revealing a spacious and bright passage. Stairs lead to the depths of the ground. It turns out that the laboratory is hidden underground. Chenling looked around and found an exhaust outlet disguised as a half-cut tree stump, as well as a faucet that was hard to spot unless you looked carefully. The faucets were all painted with green paint. No wonder the steps in the laboratory passage are so clean that not a single dirty footprint can be seen. You should have just washed your feet with a faucet. Everyone took turns stepping forward. When it was Chenling's turn, Chenling observed carefully. The water in the faucet was clean and transparent, without the sticky feeling of seawater. The island should have a water purification equipment somewhere. After washing her feet, Chen-Ling felt a little more relaxed. The Tendon Man took out 2 pairs of shoe covers from somewhere and gave 1 pair to Angel and 1 pair to Chen-Ling. Nathaniel brought his own shoe covers. The mercenaries stayed at the exit, waiting. Only Nathaniel, Angel, and Chen-Ling walked down the steps. After descending more than a dozen steps, there was a rumble above the head, and the entrance to the passage was closed. The lighting above the passage had a high wattage, illuminating the feet very brightly. Chen-Ling took a deep breath. The steel key against her thigh gave her a bit of strength, at least she wasn't defenseless. After walking up 23 steps, we turned a corner. After walking a dozen more steps, a dark blue steel gate appeared at the end of the steps. Chen-Ling recognized this kind of door. Explosion-proof sealed door, double opening with small door, 2 mechanical locks and 1 electronic lock. This kind of door is also waterproof and shockproof, often found in arsenals hidden deep in the mountains, or secret military bases. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 713. Nathaniel stepped forward, took out 2 keys from his pocket, inserted them into the keyhole, and then turned the keys. An electronic screen embedded next to the door beeped, and an English prompt sounded, "Please scan the visitor's information." This is the most advanced and secure electronic smart lock in the world. It is necessary to detect the visitor's fingerprint, retina, and skull shape at the same time. The 3 must be unified and accurate to open the smart lock. Pass. The door is open. The heavy steel plate door made a beep sound and swung back to open. The laboratory behind the door unveiled a mysterious veil to Chen-Ling. The laboratory was not as dark as Chen-Ling imagined, but rather quite bright and clean. The white fluorescent light was projected on the glass partition, and there was no trace of dirt. The floor was paved with white tiles that looked very old. Many tiles had cracks, but they were also wiped very brightly. The faint smell of disinfectant permeated the laboratory. On the laboratory table and the reagent bottle shelf, there were glassware filled with various liquids. The bottle was labeled. In the corner of the laboratory, there was a high-precision PCR instrument, a polymerase chain reaction, an instrument that amplifies specific DNA. It can be used to diagnose infectious diseases in the test body. The instrument made a humming sound, and on the display screen, data scrolled quickly. The staff in the laboratory wore white or blue work clothes, many of whom wore masks and protective glasses, with serious expressions. They shuttled between the rooms and seemed very busy. Nathaniel pressed the door opening button on the wall, and the glass door slid to both sides. A strong cold air rushed towards him. Angel walked in. Chen-Ling followed behind, and she looked back. Nathaniel followed at the end. After he came in, he pressed the button on the glass wall. The glass door closed. A door next to it opened. This room has solid walls and wooden doors. "Sir, you are here," a man's voice came from inside. The man was holding a brand new white lab coat in his hand. Because he was too tall, the door frame blocked his face. It was not until he bowed slightly and walked out of the room that Chen-Ling saw his face clearly. She was shocked. It was him. He was a biologist who was expelled from Germany and a scum in the scientific community, Frederick Kevin, who was called talented and evil by people in the industry. Chen-Ling heard that he was a person who was passionate about doing biological experiments, completely ignoring human morality and legal frameworks, and conducted many experiments that violated the ethics of biologists. After Xiongnan handed the white lab coat to Angel, he found Chen-Ling standing behind Angel. He was obviously surprised. "Who is this?" Xiongnan asked. He was asking Angel, but his eyes drifted to Nathaniel. Chen-Ling glanced at Nathaniel sharply, and Nathaniel blinked quickly without being noticed. His eyes contained many emotions that Chen-Ling could not understand. Angel was unaware of the interaction between Nathaniel and Seongnan. He took the lab coat from Seongnan, but did not put it on, but handed it to Changling. Put it on quickly, Angel said, the air conditioning is on high here. Thank you. Changling took the lab coat and put it on. Frederick, Angel waited for Changling to put on her clothes before saying to Seongnan, she is my guest. Don't worry about her. Also, please get me another coat. Angel's attitude towards Seongnan was much better than his attitude towards Nathaniel. Okay, President Seongnan called an employee holding documents in the distance, go to the warehouse and get me a new lab coat. He only prepared one lab coat. The employee quickly delivered the lab coat, looked at Changling with a very surprised look, and bowed to Angel. It seems that this employee did not know Angel's identity. He only knew that he was of noble status. Angel calmly put on his clothes, buttoned up his clothes carefully under the waiting eyes of Seongnan and Nathaniel, and said slowly, okay, now take me to see the vaccine. In addition, I also need to see the relevant experimental data, including adverse reactions after vaccination, vaccine antibody levels, safety, effect, and the vaccine effect prediction model. As soon as Angel said these words, Changling knew that Angel had a deep understanding of infectious diseases and the effective safety and preventive effects of vaccines. Presumably, he had systematically studied for the human purge plan. Seongnan and Nathaniel looked at each other quickly again. Changling vaguely felt that their eyes were a little strange. It was a resolute look. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 714. Frederick is indeed a genius in the field of biological experiments. From this report, we can see that he is a scholar with profound academic knowledge and very deep professional knowledge. The report is very comprehensive and specific. But the more comprehensive and specific it is, the more frightened Changling is. The data in the experimental report clearly shows that the virus is very destructive and has undergone targeted gene mutations. It is extremely destructive to the yellow race. Once this virus spreads, strong people can still resist it, but weak people may find it difficult to survive. Even if they survive, their bodies will be damaged. This virus is very cunning and can attack the defects and weaknesses of the human body. Even if it is cured, it may be troubled by chronic diseases. Changling didn't dare to stare at it all the time. She was afraid of being discovered by Nathaniel, so she could only glance at it occasionally. After reading a few pages, Changling was sure of one thing: she must get this experimental report. Changling glanced at the printer light on the table flashing, indicating standby status. The document in Angel's hand was very new, and it was very likely that it was printed not long ago. The printer on the table was connected to the computer, and a red USB flash drive was plugged into the host. Could it be that the file was printed in this room? If so, then the file is most likely stored in the USB flash drive plugged into the computer. The abstract graphics twisted on the screen. The computer screen had a screensaver turned on, so she couldn't be 100% sure. Angel may have read the relevant report before. He read it very quickly and soon turned to more than half of it. The file has not changed much. Angel raised his head from the file and said to Nathaniel, I want to see the vaccine experiment report. Nathaniel glanced at the glass door. There was no sound of the bear man returning. He said apologetically, why is Frederick so slow? There are some revolutionary changes in the back of this virus report. Take your time to read it. I'll go see Frederick. Well, Angel lowered his head, as soon as possible. My time is precious. Okay, Sir. Nathaniel walked quickly to the door, opened it and left. After Nathaniel left, Changling could read the file unscrupulously, but she didn't. She wanted to confirm whether there was a file in the USB flash drive. Chen-Ling sighed. Angel was stunned, looked back at Chen-Ling, and said apologetically, "Sorry, I was too absorbed in watching. Are you bored waiting?" "It's okay," Chen-Ling rubbed her lower back with a bitter face, "it's just that my waist hurts from standing." "There's a chair over there, I'll help you move it," Angel said as he was about to get up. Chen-Ling reached out and pressed his shoulder. "I can do it." The other chair was right next to the computer. Chen-Ling bent down to move the chair, and her elbow accidentally touched the computer mouse. The computer screensaver stopped, and the screen went black for a short time before lighting up. At this moment, the screen displayed the YFW-02 virus data analysis report, and the storage address displayed in the file was exactly the USB flash drive that was plugged into the computer at the moment. Chen-Ling was delighted. Angel looked down at the file again, without looking at Chen-Ling. This was the best time to steal the USB flash drive, but she couldn't do this. If they came back and saw that the USB flash drive was gone, she would be exposed immediately. Chen-Ling moved the chair next to Angel. Angel had already fallen to the back, and his expression was a little unhappy. "Why haven't Nathaniel and the others come back yet? Aren't you afraid that Angel will be angry?" "Wait." Chen-Ling's heart moved. Did she overlook something? She remembered the dispute between Nathaniel and Angel yesterday morning. It is obvious that the laboratory has been able to operate to this day with the financial support of Angel. But the laboratory has not been able to produce particularly good results, and several poisoning behaviors against China have not achieved the expected results. So, Angel wants to stop the laboratory experiments. Nathaniel argued that they finally developed the powerful YFW-02 virus and the laboratory cannot be closed. But the Heji Society is worried that releasing such a powerful virus is to open Pandora's box, so it requires the laboratory to develop a vaccine first, and then carry out the elimination plan. From the conversation between the few people just now, Chen-Ling learned that the YFW-02 virus vaccine has been developed. Chen-Ling glanced at the experimental report. The YFW-02 virus is highly variable and can combine with other viruses to derive a new virus. How difficult it is to develop an effective and reliable vaccine. No. Chen-Ling's pupils shrank. She trusted Frederick's professionalism too much because he was a very rigorous scholar with the pride of a genius, so she subconsciously thought that what he said was true. Could it be that Frederick and his team did not actually find an effective vaccine? It's possible. Think about it, if Nathaniel coerced and bribed Frederick to lie with him in order to get money and keep the laboratory going? But Angel is obviously not a rookie and can't be deceived so easily. Chen-Ling narrowed her eyes slightly unless the other party was desperate to detain Angel, and then asked the Masons for money in the name of Angel. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 715. A flash of inspiration flashed in his mind, and Chen-Ling immediately followed the thread like clues and thought. Even if they get the money successfully, so what? Laboratories are very expensive. Chen-Ling speculated that in the past, the laboratory also received a fixed amount of funding on a regular basis, and there were additional expenses that required additional applications. It is obviously impossible to obtain all the funds to support the long-term operation of the laboratory at once. Therefore, even if they ask for funds, it will only be enough to support them for a period of time. But how long can they keep Angel secret? 1 day, 2 days. No more than a week at most. 1 week is enough for them to do. At this time, Chen-Ling's mind flashed back to the biochemical carrying boxes he had just seen at the house where supplies were sent and received. Her heartbeat suddenly accelerated. Those carrying cases. It's used to hold virus test tubes. They want to go all out and release the virus directly. Placing a virus requires a lot of manpower, material and financial resources. Therefore, the money they want is not to maintain the operation of the laboratory, but to spread the virus. Once the virus spreads, it can never be taken back, let alone controlled. The mathematical model in the experimental report has fully demonstrated how contagious the YFW-02 virus is. When the virus spreads around the world, the people of the United Freemasonry cannot be immune. At that time, no matter how many opinions the Unionist Society had about Nathaniel and Frederick, they would not sanction them. Instead, they would spend a lot of money to build laboratories for them, help them collect experimental materials, and help them to settle all the troubles encountered in experimental research. Although they are the fathers of viruses, they are also the light of hope for mankind. What an insidious and vicious move! Although thrilling, and very effective. Chen Ling's back was instantly crawled all over. If she had been a step late, the virus would have spread without her knowledge, and the consequences would have been disastrous. At this time, she recalled the strange interaction between Nathaniel and Frederick, and everything became clear. Presumably, they wanted to take them to this room and then take action. But Frederick did not come in. Does he regret it? No, I'm afraid he noticed some omission and went to solve the problem, so he didn't come in. Chen Ling glanced at the pocket of Angel's pants. There was a mobile phone in the pocket. She was sure that the mobile phone must have no signal now. Frederick was thoughtful and would not forget to turn off the signal tower. Also, the 3 mercenaries who came to the island with them, I'm afraid they are already in danger at this moment. Just get the USB flash drive and start working now. As soon as this thought crossed my mind, I heard footsteps coming from outside. There were numerous and chaotic footsteps. Chen Ling counted 5 people in total. Nathaniel, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Angel raised his head and looked at the door. After seeing the person clearly, his words stopped abruptly. Standing outside the door were Nathaniel and Frederick, as well as 3 experimental island mercenaries with guns. Angel did not panic, slowly closed the document on his lap, crossed his legs, and glanced coldly at the people outside the door, finally focusing on Nathaniel's face. Nathaniel, Frederick, what do you mean? Isn't it good to be alive? Angel said, squinting at Nathaniel. Chen Ling had a surprised expression on her face, but she was actually quickly calculating escape routes in her mind. The first step was for her to roll on the spot, drag down the chair she was sitting on, use the chair to block the bullet, and go to the computer to pull out the USB flash drive. They were worried about accidentally injuring Angel, so they probably wouldn't shoot indiscriminately. In the second step, she took advantage of the time when the other party didn't react and quickly rushed into the crowd. Maybe she could grab a gun. She couldn't run out of the lab's smart door. Unlocking the smart door was very troublesome, and Nathaniel and the others obviously wouldn't give Chen Ling this time. But she could use the thick water pipe she saw in the bushes when she went underground. Then, she can run to the island. Here comes the problem. How did she leave the experimental island? The high-speed boat they came on must have been destroyed or hidden by them. No matter how powerful Chen Ling is, she cannot rely on human power to compete with their high-speed traffic craft in terms of speed and endurance. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 716. Hearing Angel's words, Nathaniel replied respectfully, "Of course it's better to live, my lord. We do this to live better. I hope you can forgive my rudeness." Chen Ling noticed that Angel quietly moved his hand to his trouser pocket. There were documents on his legs, covering his little movements. Nathaniel didn't notice, but the bear man was very careful. He stretched out his hand to Angel. "My lord, I know you tried to call for help. Unfortunately, I have turned off the signal tower, and now the island is disconnected from the outside world. But please give me your phone." Angel's shoulders stiffened, and he looked at the bear man with a very unhappy expression. In the end, he took out his phone, but did not put it in the bear man's hand, but threw it on the ground. The bear man shrugged his shoulders and did not take it as an offense. He bent down and picked up the phone that had a corner knocked on the ground. However, just as he straightened up, he accidentally glanced at the computer screen on the table not far away. The screen was on. He glanced at the host under the table. The host was indeed still plugged in a USB flash drive. "This Nathaniel is always so careless," Bear muttered and walked towards the table. Chen Ling paid attention to Bear's every move. She watched Bear use the mouse to eject the USB drive, then pulled it out and put it in the pocket of his white lab coat. What? Or do nothing. The opportunity waits for no one, it will be gone in a flash. Chen Ling was tense, like a cheetah that was full of strength and ready to rush out. Her brain was turning so fast that sparks were almost coming out. She was not an indecisive person, but this matter was really important and could not afford any mistakes. At this moment, her knee was suddenly patted gently. Chen Ling almost jumped up. Angel looked at her with concern, saw that she looked nervous, patted her gently again, and then gave her a reassuring smile. Was he comforting himself? Bear had already walked to the door. Chen Ling secretly breathed a sigh of relief and relaxed her muscles. The success rate of taking action now was too low. She needed to get more information to increase the success rate of her actions. Nathaniel and Xiongnan needed help from Angel, so they would not kill Angel. Angel, who was alive, was the president of the Freemasons, with mountains of gold, silver, manpower, and material resources behind him. If he died, he would be nothing more than a useless corpse. Even if she got the USB drive now, it would not be enough, and running away would not be enough. She had to destroy all the viruses on the experimental island. Otherwise, even if she escaped, Nathaniel and the others could still find a way to spread the virus even if the country where they first spread the virus was not China. With the current developed transportation, it was only a matter of time before the virus spread to China. In short, she had to find a way to blow up the laboratory. Angel and Nathaniel, one sitting and one standing, stared into each other's eyes. "Tell me," Angel said slowly, "what do you want from me?" The bear man spread his hands. "Sir, Neil told me yesterday that you are not going to continue to provide financial support to our laboratory." Angel frowned. "You want money?" "Money is only part of our plan," Nathaniel said. "We also need to rely on your power to mobilize members of the Freemasonry to help us transport the virus." "Transport the virus," Angel repeated. Then, he showed an expression of sudden enlightenment on his face. "It turns out that you haven't developed a vaccine at all. Do you want to skip the step of developing a vaccine and directly implement the poisoning plan?" You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 717. Your Excellency is smart. Nathaniel smiled and said sincerely, "This matter concerns our future and destiny. Please cooperate with us and support us." Angel pondered in silence. "Your Excellency," Nathaniel persuaded him with emotion and reason, "you are a determined implementer of the elimination plan. However, you are constrained by the old brains of the Masonic Society. Since you proposed your elimination plan, they have been trying their best to obstruct you and put forward various restrictions on you. Now, you don't have to consider their conditions. I will do it. The top leaders of the Masonic Society will never blame you. Because you are coerced by us. Don't worry, we will never do anything for you. You just need to be wronged on our island for a few days. When everything is done smoothly on our side, we will naturally send you home." Angel has sorted out his thoughts and then smiled. It seems that I can't do anything except cooperate now. Angel shrugged and said helplessly, but my 2 USB keys, Yuki for short, are kept on my island. Without Yuki, how can I transfer money to you and how can I dispatch people? USB. The key has a globally unique ID. The client is combined with the ID. By reading the ID, the client's login and usage information can be obtained. Many guests who store large amounts of money will use Yuki to protect the security of their bank accounts. Another Yuki is equivalent to the Tiger Tally of the Internet Age. It can dispatch members of the Masonic Society and transportation under the name of the Masonic Society, helicopters, yachts, cars, etc. Don't bother, sir. We have already made arrangements here. Nathaniel breathed a sigh of relief. He grinned. I just know that your valuables are kept by the housekeeper Connie. You can call her and ask her to send them over. Besides, our experimental island is either a group of mercenaries who can only fight, or a group of clumsy and rough people who can only do experiments. What if they can't serve you well? I know that you are a noble who is particular about food, clothing, housing, and transportation. Connie can come and serve you for us. Angel's mouth curled up on one side. It seems that you have considered it very carefully. Nathaniel smiled. Thanks to Frederick's careful arrangement, the plan was able to proceed so smoothly. So, your answer is? Seongnan asked in a muffled voice. Okay. Angel nodded reservedly. I am willing to cooperate with you. Seongnan looked at Angel, then lifted up his white lab coat and took out the intercom from his belt. Call the ground, restore the signal tower, restore the signal tower. Zzz. After the intercom made an electric sound, a response came, received, please wait. Less than half a minute later, a voice came from the intercom again. The signal has been restored. The signal has been restored. Seongnan turned off the intercom, put it back into his waist, and then handed over Angel's mobile phone. Angel reached out to take it, but failed. Seongnan did not let go, but increased the strength of his fingers. Frederick, Angel said coldly, did I give you face? No, sir, the bear man said in an unusually serious tone. I gave you the phone because I hope you can ask your butler to send Yuki over, not for you to ask for help. If you cooperate with us, we can coexist peacefully. If you must destroy our plan. The bear man paused artistically and said in a threatening tone, we can die at most. But before I die, I will definitely drag you to hell with me. Angel sneered, Frederick, it seems that you don't know me well enough. Nathaniel, you come and explain. Stop this thing, it's not good for the president, Nathaniel said. On the contrary, it's what the president likes to promote this thing. If it fails, the president can put all the responsibility on us. If it succeeds, the president will not only implement the elimination plan, but also consolidate his position in the club, and get a lot of money and skills. So, the president will definitely cooperate with us. The bear man let go of his hand. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 718. Angel took the phone, found Connie's number, and dialed it. He glanced at the bear man, rolled his eyes, and clicked the hands-free button. Dudu master, the phone was connected, and Connie's voice came from the other side of the phone. Excuse me, what are your orders? I need you to send me my Swiss bank Yuki and Union Resource. Calling Yuki, the one with the black gold emblem. Angel said, I'm on Kame Island, When you say calling Yuki, do you mean the one with the black and gold emblem? Connie asked. Yes, Angel said, I'm on Kame Island. You can send it over as soon as possible. Okay master, Connie said. Excuse me, do you need anything else? No need, Angel said. Why don't you come back and do it? Connie asked. Beep. A busy tone came from the other side. The owner has hung up the phone. Connie frowned. Should I call back and ask? Forget it, whatever the master orders, As a servant, just follow the order and don't raise too many questions. This is an important rule that must be remembered to save your life. Connie walked to the third floor study. There is a clever mechanism in the study that can turn out a dark wall. There is a built-in safe in the wall. Connie knows the password. It's not that Angel trusts Connie, but the Yuki in the safe that only Angel can use. To others, Yuki is just a useless piece of scrap metal. Even if others get the Yuki, they can't use it. It's just a useless piece of trash. Connie opened the safe, found the 2 Yukis Angel wanted among a pile of Yukis, put the 2 Yukis into a waterproof bag, and then put them into a waterproof waist bag. Open your top, tie the belt bag against your waist and abdomen, and then put down your top. Get ready to go. Connie thought, touching her pocket. Where are the jet ski keys? Is it in the pocket of the clothes you changed into yesterday? But when she was taking off her clothes, she emptied her pockets and didn't find the key to the motorboat. She rummaged through several places where she usually kept her keys, including drawers, several frequently used satchels, and the hooks behind the door where keys were hung, but no trace of the keys was found. Could it be lost? The master is still waiting for me. Connie gave up looking for the old key, walked over to her bed, and pulled out a storage box. In an iron box filled with various things in the storage box, I found the spare key of my motorboat. Connie came to the motorboat parked at the bottom of the mountain and greeted the mercenary. Tom, help me fill up the motorboat with gas. I want to deliver something to the owner. Tom immediately took out the gasoline barrel from the rest cabin, filled it up for Connie, and then closed the gas tank cap. It's already filled up, you are tired enough, and you haven't had time to play cards with us recently. Connie pouted, there's no way. It's a special period. Okay, I'm leaving. She got on the motorboat, confirmed the direction of travel, and started the motorboat. The motorboat was extremely fast, riding the wind and waves, and flew straight towards the experimental island. Asterisk. Angel hung up the phone before finishing listening to Connie's question. Then he handed the phone to Seongman and sneered, how about it? You should feel relieved now, right? The bear man grinned, revealing his white and shining teeth. Sir, I have always been so cautious. It's not that I don't trust you. After saying that, he took out the walkie-talkie again. Ground troops, close the signal tower, close the signal tower. The tower is down, the intercom answered. The bear man looked at Angel's undisguised contempt and said with a playful smile, I don't know if you carry any other communication tools with you, I don't want to offend you and search your body. So dash. Cheng Ling's heart jumped again. Connie is here. She's here to deliver transportation. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 719. But as soon as Connie arrives on the island, she will probably be detained along with her motorboat. Cheng Ling must reach the shore before Connie reaches the island. At this moment, Cheng Ling was hesitating whether to coerce Angel. With Angel here, she had a human shield. Nathaniel and the others asked for help from Angel, and they must ensure Angel's life safety. When they coerce Angel, they use a defensive weapon and cannot fire intensive firepower at them, and their chance of success will increase by 10%. So, Cheng Ling pondered her thoughts, what she has to do now. The first step is to get the USB flash drive. The second step is to kidnap Angel. The third step is to order them to open the smart door. Step 4, blow up the laboratory. Step 5, arrive at the shore within half an hour. The biggest variable is the third step, passing the smart gate. Seongman is extremely smart, and Cheng Ling won't really harm Angel's life if he threatens Angel. Because to Cheng Ling, Angel is a shield when he is alive, but useless when he is dead. In other words, they don't have to open the smart door at all, because Cheng Ling won't kill Angel. Angel snorted coldly, Frederick, you are too cautious to achieve great things. Xiongnan shook his head, it's often the small details that determine the success or failure of something. I don't want to listen to your nonsense anymore, Angel slapped his nose with a document. I really don't know why you like to do experiments, the air is not circulating, the smell is not good, and it's so depressing. I've been here for a long time, I'm getting claustrophobic. Of course, Nathaniel said, before Yuki is delivered, you and your little girlfriend can wait in the lounge on the ground, the air is good there and you can bask in the sun. Chen Ling felt ecstatic in her heart. She couldn't believe her good fortune. Ha! Angel actually offered to take him to the ground. So lucky. She couldn't help but be grateful for Angel's cabin fever, the most difficult part of her plan was getting to the ground. Then, please. Nathaniel stretched out his right hand in a gesture of invitation. Angel stood up, slapped the document in his hand on Xiongman's chest, then turned back and handed his hand to Chen Ling. Chen Ling held Angel's hand and stood up. The people standing at the door gave way. Angel held Chen Ling's left hand and passed by Xiongnan. At this moment, Chen Ling's right hand, like a magician's hand, reached into Xiongman's pocket at an incredibly fast speed, and clamped the fatal USB flash drive with his long and strong fingers. Then, she raised her right hand and pretended to arrange her hair. The fingers holding the USB flash drive were released, and the cold USB flash drive slid along the sleeves of her loose white coat and slid over her forearms, elbows, and armpits. At this time, Chen Ling arranged her hair and put her arms down. The USB flash drive was already attached to the right side of her torso and slid between her waist and crotch. Chen Ling put down the wrist of his arm and just touched the falling USB flash drive. He swung his wrist slightly, adjusted the angle and direction of the USB flash drive, and cooperated with his lower body. The USB flash drive slid smoothly into the right pocket of her pants, as if it had eyes. These pants were also carefully selected by her, dark green, casual pants with many wide pockets. The little extra weight in his pocket gave Chen Ling a very sense of security. This is irrefutable evidence of Masonic crime. And if the laboratory here is not the only place where viruses are stored, then this small USB flash drive in her pants pocket will be the key to conquering the virus and finding a vaccine. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 720. Nathaniel led the way, Angel held Chen Ling's hand and followed behind. The three mercenaries hugged their guns and stared at Angel and Chen Ling. Finally, they followed the bear man. The bear man had no idea that in the blink of an eye, the USB flash drive had changed hands. Chen Ling focused most of her attention on observing the pipes above her head. Soon, she found the two pipes of the air inlet and outlet. Underground buildings must rely on ventilation equipment to use pipes for underground air replacement. Just as she expected, every room has ventilation ducts. And in one of the thicker pipes, there is a black machine, a bit like a large air conditioner. It is an oxygen generator. Biochemical experiments have strict requirements on temperature and air. Ventilation alone cannot meet the experimental requirements. Seeing the oxygen generator, Chen Ling felt more at ease. Now, everything is ready, only the east wind is missing. Leaving the laboratory smart door is as complicated as entering the door. Chen Ling was as happy as she was about the complicated smart door before. She wished it was as complicated as possible. The smart door verified Nathaniel's identity accurately, and after a beep, the smart door slowly opened. The moist jungle wind blew in the face, which made people feel refreshed. There was no one at the door. The mercenaries brought by Angel disappeared, they were probably executed. The sun lounge was in the bushes not far from the laboratory gate, covered with a camouflage green lightproof waterproof curtain. If you don't look carefully, you can't find it at all. The mercenary stepped forward and removed the curtain, revealing the sunroom. The sunroom is about 1 meter above the ground, with wooden floors, and the other sides are spliced together with tempered glass. Working underground for a long time without seeing green and sunshine can easily cause depression. The sunroom is also a benefit that Nathaniel gave to scientific research experimenters. There are rattan tables, rattan chairs, lazy sofas, potted plants, and bookshelves with books in the sunroom. It looks quite comfortable. Sitting in the sunroom, you can see the scenery of the jungle, be bathed in the sun, and not be bothered by mosquitoes. Nathaniel took out the key, unlocked it, and then pulled the glass door. "Please, both of you." Angel and Cheng Ling walked in. Nathaniel stood outside the house and commanded, "You, go in." He pointed to one of the mercenaries, who nodded and walked in. "You two, wait outside," Nathaniel said to Angel, who was already sitting on the rattan chair. "Sir, if you have any needs, just tell them." Angel said lightly. The bear man, who had been standing outside the sunroom in silence, glanced at Angel, and a trace of doubt flashed across his face. Nathaniel closed the door, locked it, bowed to Angel, and dragged the bear man back to the laboratory. Nathaniel's footsteps were quite brisk. On the contrary, the bear man was distracted all the time, and even almost stepped on the air when he went down the stairs. "Hey, buddy," Nathaniel patted the bear man, "Fortuna is on our side, why are you unhappy?" The bear man rubbed his short and thick hair. "I don't know, I always feel like something is wrong." "Nothing is wrong," Nathaniel said, "let's go, we still have to hurry up to pack the virus, these babies can set off today. Don't think about useless things." "No," the bear man pulled the beard on his cheek, "I think this is a very important thing." Nathaniel pouted, "Then think about it slowly." The bear man frowned and returned to the office with Nathaniel. "Take out the previously prepared plan and route map, and the two of them will confirm the transportation route of the box for the last time." As soon as Nathaniel relaxed, he talked more obviously. "I have dreamed of this day for decades." Nathaniel said, "I want the world to double back everything I lost before." "Yeah," the bear man responded perfunctorily. "I didn't expect the president to be so gentle to this girl," Nathaniel sneered. "Heh, a fake man. I wonder if the president will get tired of playing this time. He has such a bad temper, I guess the girl will suffer a lot." The bear man stood up from the chair suddenly. Bad temper. It turns out that this is where he always felt something was wrong. As an expert who has studied the human body and mind, the bear man knows how serious Angel's mental illness is. He is irritable and often hysterical. A small matter as small as a sesame seed may trigger an outbreak of his mental illness. In today's incident, Angel was completely passive, half calculated, half coerced, and agreed to cooperate with their plan. He didn't get angry? Not only was he not angry, but today Angel behaved quite gracefully and was emotionally stable. Did he take tranquilizers? No. After taking tranquilizers, one will be listless, have a sluggish look, giggle for no apparent reason, and be slow to react, but Angel has none of these symptoms. There is another possibility: Angel was hypnotized. Only very clever hypnosis can allow Angel to retain his independent thinking ability and behave no differently from usual. However, when doing certain things, he will unconsciously make choices and judgments according to the hypnotist's wishes. Who hypnotized Angel? The answer is obvious: the black-eyed girl who looks weak and simple brought by Angel. When the bear man thought of this, he touched his lab coat pocket and said in a lost voice, "It's broken." The USB flash drive disappeared. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 721. Nathaniel was confused. Why was Frederick so startled? Isn't it a good thing that Angel didn't lose his temper? He watched Frederick groping his pockets anxiously, and his heart skipped a beat. Rick, what's wrong? Our poisoning plan is going to fail, the bear man shouted, opened the door of the laboratory and rushed out. Although Nathaniel didn't understand what Frederick had found, he also rushed out. Frederick took out the walkie-talkie from his pocket while running. Call the ground, kill the black-haired girl immediately, kill her immediately dash. Ziz dash. The walkie-talkie made a sound of electricity, and a nice female voice came out, speaking fluent English. Sorry, your soldiers may not be able to complete the mission. Hum. Hum. Hum, the bear man threw the walkie-talkie furiously. He took 2 steps at a time, rushed to the smart door, and began to unlock the smart door. Fingerprint recognition, pupil recognition, head recognition, password input, smart doors require a fixed process to unlock. The more anxious and angry you are, the easier it is to make mistakes. The bear man got the process wrong and had to wait for the system to reset and re-verify. Just then, he heard the sound of a heavy object falling from somewhere above his head, and then a very terrible and very dull sound came from the ceiling of the laboratory. The next moment, the metal ventilation duct exploded, and metal pieces flew out in all directions. Then, a fire sprayed out from the duct. Screams rang out in the laboratory. Many people's hair and clothes were on fire, screaming, slapping, and tearing their clothes. Then, their bodies felt a strange squeezing force, and the glass of the laboratory began to bend and deform under this squeezing force. After the explosion and fire in the underground laboratory, the oxygen burned rapidly and the air pressure decreased, like a pair of invisible big hands, squeezing the laboratory together. The stones and soil around the laboratory shook one after another, and then the ground shook, and the laboratory was buried underground. The smart door was quite strong, the laboratory collapsed, but the smart door provided a safe space for Nathaniel and Seongnan. However, the huge impact force made the two faint. Asterisk. Angel looked at everything happening in front of him blankly. No, he must be dreaming. It was still a rather absurd dream. Shortly after Nathaniel and Seongnan turned and left, Chen-Ling, who was sitting on the rattan chair opposite her, suddenly stood up. She walked straight to the mercenary standing in the house and asked in awkward English, "Excuse me, is there a dash?" The mercenary held a gun and looked at Chen-Ling. "What?" Angel saw Chen-Ling raise his hand, and the mercenary's body shook, and then slowly sat on the ground, with his back against the glass. Angel sat on the chair and could only see Chen-Ling's back. He didn't know that she had pierced the knife on the mercenary's waist into his Adam's apple. This knife was quite clean and directly cut off the other party's cervical nerve. Chen-Ling, Angel hesitated and called her name. What happened to him? Chen-Ling turned around and smiled at Angel. That smile was very dazzling. Chen-Ling walked towards him with a smile, raised her hand and snapped her fingers beside her ear. "Sit here, don't move, don't make a sound." Angel found that he could not control his body at all, he could neither move nor make a sound. He watched Chen-Ling raise her hand to pull down the hair tie tied to her hair, and took out a key from her pocket with her other hand. With a flexible flip of her fingers, the key was fixed on the rubber band. She separated her thumb and index finger, pointed at the glass next to her, and pulled the key tied to the rubber band back with force. "Let go." Crashed. The glass shattered. At the same time, Chen-Ling pulled out the saber from the throat of the dead body leaning against the glass and rushed out like a cannonball. The two mercenaries standing outside and chatting with their backs to the glass room heard the sound of glass breaking and subconsciously looked back. They only felt their necks get cold and their throats tighten, then they fell to the ground with no strength, holding their throats and twitching all over. Chen-Ling did not pause at all, bent down to pick up a stone, tightened it with a rubber band, and aimed it at the black long pole more than 10 meters away. That was the signal tower of the experimental island. The hand loosened, and the stone flew. The power supply box of the signal tower was completely hit by such a heavy blow, and it was broken into pieces, and sparks flew everywhere. The signal tower was completely ineffective. The mercenaries had guns, but Chen Ling could not shoot, for fear that the gunshot would be transmitted to the underground laboratory through the ventilation vents.